Well. Today is a beautiful day outside. The weather looks fantastic, but unfortunately for most of us, we can't go outside because we are all social distancing and isolating ourselves because of the coronavirus. Yes, we are like the Internet Explorer team. There's coronavirus, everyone, in case you didn't know. Anyway, welcome to the Movie Buzz podcast. My name is Steven Campos. I'm your host, and here with me today, without breaking the rules of quarantine, is my brother David.
Hey everyone.
David has been gone for a really long time as our fact checker, and he's finally back. Well, it's not like he had anything else to do. He's finally back to join us here in this episode, and we are not breaking the rules of isolation because David is my brother, and yes, he lives with me. And without breaking any rules, here with me is also my co-host, Steven.
Hey, everyone.
Also practicing social distancing. He is recording from the comfort of his home, and we are using via Zoom. I said that wrong. We're just using Zoom. If I would have said via Zoom, I could have just said he was joining us via Zoom, but I said using. Anyway. So how are you guys holding up with this whole quarantine isolation thing? Either one.
I thought Dave was going to go first.
Alright, I'll go first. It's been really fun. I've been watching a lot of movies lately, trying to catch up on all the things I've missed on Netflix and Disney Plus, but I still do have a lot of schoolwork, so not as much time as I thought I would have, but I'm appreciating it a lot.
Same here. When people said that we were going to have to self-quarantine in our houses, I, for some reason, thought I was going to have, just loads and loads of time. So I made this long list of movies, and I even divided it into like what streaming services there were on: Netflix, Prime, Hulu. But I haven't been able to catch up on all that much because even though like school is online and we're off campus, I still have the same amount of workload. So I'm still being very busy with my studies. So school's making sure my mind is occupied, and I have been able to catch up on some movies, but other than that, if I just pretend I'm at school, if I close my eyes and just listen to my professor through Zoom, my days look pretty much the same. How about you, Steven?
It's pretty much been the same as like both of you guys. I have work, I have school that I have to keep doing from home, and then I also have a bunch of movies I need to watch. I have TV shows, I have video games I'm playing, books to read, but I mostly stay home anyway. So this is like nothing new to me.
Yeah, I mean,
how many people are telling me that they're, like, oh, I'm going crazy, I need to go out, when, I'm like, oh, dude, I'm fine with this,
Yeah, I mean, I haven't felt the effects that much yet. I mean, I have started feeling a little bit frustrated, but I'm not feeling the effects like how some people are saying, like, oh my God, let me out type of thing. I'm still pretty much okay. I'm okay. And with that said, we got a great episode for you guys today. We will be talking about all these movies that were supposed to have theatrical releases, and we'll be going straight to on demand. Some of them are being delayed, and we're going to talk about our thoughts on how that will affect the movie theater business. And then once we get wrapped up with that conversation, we will also be diving into our top 9 suggestions for movies to keep you all entertained. We're in quarantine. Some people get bored. For those of you who are feeling crazy, hopefully we can provide some entertainment to you and provide some good movies that you wouldn't have found otherwise without our recommendation. So with that said, we're going to get started. And our first topic here is movie theaters. And as we know, they're taking a pretty big hit because of this coronavirus. Most movie theaters, if not all, I'm pretty sure all movie theaters are closed right now in the United States. In China, they were about to reopen, and they did reopen, I think, for a day or two, and then they closed them again. China was going to be re-releasing Marvel films as well as Avatar, which I was actually kind of looking forward to because I thought, like, ooh, this, race to the top of the box office is back on. Mm-hmm. But doesn't look like that's going to be happening now. What are your guys' thoughts on how the movie theater business is going to go from here, like how it's being affected by the coronavirus?
I'll start off here. I've heard a lot of people say that movie theaters are going to close soon, because people are going to start realizing that there's a lot of great streaming platform originals that they can just watch. And that is totally not the path that I see that going. I think going to the movie theater is a whole experience. You go there, you get your popcorn, your drink, and just having other people enjoy the same movie as you is such a wonderful experience. And I can't imagine anyone trading that just for a couch. Now that I say it out loud, I can picture a couple people wanting to trade that for just sitting down in your couch and watching it. But personally, I don't think movie theaters will be going anywhere in the next 5 to 10 years.
How about you, Steven?
I'm totally fine with the films going on demand, going digital. I have been a mass supporter to like go digital. I hate going to the movie theaters. Well, I mean, not all the time because the movies I like to go watch, some people don't go watch them, so I'm like the only one in there. But like when we have to go watch those Marvel movies, and everyone's just fucking screaming and yelling and applauding and just laughing at every 5 seconds of the movie, kicking my seat and everything, throwing popcorn in the air because, oh my god, they said a funny joke. And it's like, I can't even enjoy this movie. They're just like, I can't even tell what the person after they said the joke said. I miss dialogue and everything. So I already hate going to the movie theaters in that aspect. So the fact that everything is going on demand, I can watch it in the comfort of my own home. I don't have people just randomly laughing behind my ear, people talking, trying to say, oh, what did I miss because I went to the bathroom? Oh, what did this happen, this happened, this happened, Like, all that is annoying to me. So I can just be by myself and watch the movie. That's totally fine with me. The only thing I don't like are these prices. I don't like that they're charging you like $20 to watch a movie at the house, and you can only really rent it once. It's not like if you're buying it. I understand if you were buying them that they would cost $20, but the fact that you're only allowed to watch it once, or with however many times you want to in the 24-hour period that you have it. But to me, it's almost like you shouldn't have to pay for that much because that's like the cost of a Blu-ray, a new Blu-ray, with all the special features and everything. But here, you're just getting the movie by itself.
Well, I mean, personally for me, I find that these prices are pretty much a steal. But that's because I'm in quarantine with my family, and without my sister here, she moved out. But with the four of us here, without my sister, it's four of us, and if we were all gonna go watch a movie, that's, let's say, and on average $10 a ticket, right? With the four of us, that's $40. And having, being able to rent it for only 20, I mean, we're paying half of what we would have usually paid. So when it comes to prices, I think that it's fantastic, personally for me. But I also do see it in your perspective, in the sense where, like, if you live somewhere where your family's not really into the same movies that you are, and there's a movie you want to watch, and it's just you, going to the theater by yourself, you'd only pay $10, where here you have to pay 20. Sometimes I'm hearing rumors that if Disney were to release something on demand, it'd be around 25.
Yeah, that sounds like that's something they would do.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that I prefer on demand, because I do love the entire experience of going to a movie theater. Everything that you said you hated about it, I love. I love when there's a good crowd. I love when people are so invested in the movie where they react, because I genuinely get excited, and for example these Marvel films, and I also react. I wouldn't say the same way, because you did show me some reaction videos where people are just insane. I don't think I react like that, but I do get excited, and I do love when people around me are excited. We all feel connected at that moment because we're all fanboying over the same thing. So personally, I'm a fan of that, and I love going to the movie. It's an event. It's something to do. Sort of, if I had to compare this to anything, it's, remember back when Blockbuster and Video 2000 were a thing, like these movie rental stores. It would be a thing. It would be an event. Like, oh, we're going to go do this on Friday night. We're going to go out. We're going to get food. We're going to stop by at the video store. Where now it's just you're scrolling endlessly on Netflix until you find something that your entire family can agree on, or something that you think is worth your time.
I don't get what you meant by that. What's that to do with the theaters? But
What is what?
But you like, Blockbuster Video. That's like something that you're doing at home. So you're not going to the movie theaters at that point, and then if you're scrolling through Netflix, you're still at home. that has nothing to do with going to the movie theater.
No, what I meant is
Theater
like
is its own separate event, if that's what you guys want to call it.
no, yeah, but
But
what I meant was like, going out to the video store to get something almost felt like an event. It felt more of an event than just sitting home and scrolling through something, where
I
and
see what you mean.
yeah, and I'm trying to compare that to going to the movies, where if movie theaters were to just shut down and everything were to go on demand, it would lose some of its magic, I think.
But wouldn't it be the same if you just invite your friends to come watch the movie at your house and you're both screaming and you're enjoying the movie? And I mean, because at the same time, does it matter more that your friends are enjoying the movie or some complete stranger sitting next to you?
Well, am I watching the movie with you? No, I'm kidding.
No, I meant like with everyone there. Like, we would invite our friends or whatever and we all watch the same movie. It's almost like the same thing, but you're at home.
Not
You never
necessarily.
have to be being with other people. And I mean, you're watching the same movie. If a movie is good, in my opinion, you should be able to watch it on your phone and still get the same experience as watching it on the big screen. To me, it doesn't really matter. You don't need like a huge 12-foot tall theater in order to, you know, understand a movie or whatever like that. Tony Stark dies the same way on an iPhone that he does on a 50-foot screen.
Spoilers for Endgame.
What?
Spoilers for Endgame. That's funny.
Oh yeah. Oh well, we spoil Endgame all the time. But no, that's what I mean. It's like to me, it doesn't really matter. If I want to go see a movie, it's because I want to go see it. I don't want to go see it with commentary behind me or next to me or people saying, "¿Qué dijo? What did he say? Oh, what's going on? This is gonna happen." I don't want to keep hearing that. It's like I just want to see the movie for myself. Like if the movie doesn't change just because there's a person who's enjoying it who has no meaning to my life. It's like, is the movie good? Okay, good, because I like it. I'm not going to be like, oh, but the people around me liked it, so that's why I have a good experience with it.
But wouldn't you say it adds to the experience?
No, what experience are you looking for?
Well, because I think this is definitely getting into the conversation of dividing genre of films. So like for event films, I think it does add to the experience for event films. But like if we were to go watch, let's say The Irishman had a theatrical release and we all went,
It did.
of course
It
I'm
did.
not what?
It did. It did have a theatrical release.
No, but like worldwide.
Worldwide, I don't know, but I know it had a theatrical release around the U.S.
Yeah, well like I know that not every theater had it.
No, not
Like
every theater.
like it wasn't the same like when let's say like when A Quiet Place opens. A Quiet Place is going to be playing in most theaters. Like The Irishman had only select theaters.
Yeah.
So like going to watch an event film and the people next to you are just as excited as you are, and I think that adds to it. But if we're watching The Irishman, like I'm not going to care who's next to me, type of thing. And also, like to go back to what you were saying, I really hope movie theaters don't close because I can't watch movies at home unless it's just me by myself because then there's always too many interruptions. Even like when I watch a movie with my family or if I watch it with friends, at a movie theater, it's sort of like we know we're supposed to be quiet because we're at a movie theater. Where here at the house, I feel like even if we were to invite friends over, there's more. They feel more open to just saying something out loud, or to rewinding something, or to pause things to go to the restroom, or to even have like. I mean, I know that this is terrible for any movie watching in any case, but even to start like side conversations, or if you live with like little kids, like if you have a niece or a cousin or something, and they're just running around, or if your parents are doing stuff in the background, like I don't know, making noise, talking on the phone, you know, it takes away from the experience.
I mean, I can see your point there. I actually can. But I don't know. To me, like you would think that being in the movie theater, people would know, be quiet, turn off your phone, But at the same time, then they got people who don't care about that. They talk on their phone, they have it on ringer, whatever, like that. They bring their kids all running around. Remember that time we went to go see Halloween?
Yeah.
And there's a lady next to us who brought like her 5 kids with her. You know, some people just don't care.
Which, by the way, Halloween is not the movie you want to bring 5 kids to.
No, exactly. But that's what I mean is like when you have those people there, you know. But then again, I mean, I think it's also because I've had more bad experiences with movie theaters than you have, you know. Because like it took me like 3 times to go see 1917 because the first time the theater just like had a blackout, so we had to leave. And then the second time there was like a person behind me who kept making noises and everything that distracted everything. So I left, and it was the third time when I finally was able to see it. And even then, there was a person who kept walking back and forth from the hall for some reason. I don't know why. So that even distracted me. But I was like, I just need to watch it, you know. When I'm pretty sure if I watch it in my own house, I won't have any problems, you know. Because even if somebody came and interrupted me, I can pause the movie. If somebody interrupts me during the movie theater, I can't pause the movie. It keeps going, you know?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
If I need to go to the bathroom, I pause the movie and I go to the bathroom. Here, I have to run and come back and ask someone, like, hey, what did I miss? What happened? You know? Or wait to ask them afterwards. But either way, you miss pieces of the film, you know?
Well, I see what you mean. So I guess what I'm going to do now... Well, before I do this, David, do you want to add anything to...
No, I think you guys hit everything I was going to say spot on. It's like you guys were reading my mind.
You agree with David? Me?
I have to say, after all that, I still do agree with my brother Steven. No bias there. Just just because it's... I mean, I do agree with everything you said about if you have to go to the bathroom in the theater, you have to run, and then you have to ask someone what happened. There's always, people chattering everywhere. But I personally have been lucky enough to not have such.
Sorry to interrupt,
terrible...
but roll this into your final thoughts about this, and then after you do your final thoughts, say which do you prefer? Like if it were up to you, movie theaters closed completely and everything go on demand, or would you like to keep movie theater closed? Okay, continue.
Okay, so like I was saying, I totally see Steven on the phone's point of view of this, but then also see Steven in person's point of view of this. But I like I was saying, I haven't had a bad experience in a movie theater, so I'm going to have to go with Steven, my brother, in this one.
Woo! Okay, I'm gonna do this. Give my final thoughts as well now. I do see your reasoning behind this, Steven, but I also think that you've had more bad experiences than I've had at movie theaters. Ultimately, I'm going to go with my final thought. If my opinion matters at all. I would love for movie theaters to continue. I feel that that's a great way to social gather once everything's healthy again, of course. To gather with people who all share the same interest. And even though you're not talking directly to those people, you kind of feel connected to your community a little bit more. And also because I feel when you go to a movie theater, you can really get that experience and get invested into a film, where I feel if video on demand, it would take away from that movie magic, that movie hype and experience. And also, you're more susceptible to not watching the movie as a whole, the way it's meant to be viewed. Because with video on demand, if your parents, your girlfriend, your friends, your niece, whoever there is, if they need you to do something or talk to you, it'd be very easy for them to be like, this is more important, put it on pause, and then come back to it later. And I for one, am one person who just absolutely, if I can, every single movie I watch, it has to be in one sitting. I hate pausing something and coming back to it later. So yeah, my final thought, my overall vote is, I really hope the movie theater chains are able to survive the coronavirus.
I mean, I think they will. I mean, I don't think they're completely gone. You know, I'm fine with like everything going on demand, and I'm also fine with movies being in the theater. But I would much rather watch a movie at home than have to go to the theater to go watch it. What I'm not fine with is the delays. the whole like I mean they can easily release Black Widow on demand or A Quiet Place 2 on demand. What because like we saw The Invisible Man, The Hunt, those were already in theater for a while, and then all of a sudden they got moved to on demand. It's like well people already saw it, but now we can see it at home. But then these people didn't go see A Quiet Place 2 or whatever. Why did they get delayed and not these films that already had their theatrical release? You know, like to me, it's almost like it just seems like they're just waiting to get more money. You know, but I don't know. There are plenty of people out there who would be willing to, you know, buy all this other stuff.
Well, I mean, to comment on what you're saying, I think it does have to do with money, but I think it also has to do with a contract that they have with movie theaters. And also, they don't want to contribute to movie theaters closing because not only would that be terrible for movie lovers, but also they would be putting thousands of people out of a job. All those people that work there, all the people who work concessions, uh, the box office people, the movie studios, taking Disney for example with the Black Widow film, if they were to set that precedent and other people were to follow, they could potentially close movie theaters and also get rid of a lot of jobs out there.
Well, I mean, just because Black Widow will do good, let's say it makes a lot of money on demand. That doesn't mean that every movie is going to make the same amount on demand. You know. So to me, it's almost like yeah, Black Widow can go on demand and you can get a lot of views for it. And but if you got something like what's that Underwater with Kristen Stewart, not many people are gonna go want to go see it, But then Black Widow will make a lot of money on demand because you have a lot of people who are waiting for that movie. No one's necessarily waiting for other types of movies.
Like if Disney were to put Black Widow on demand and it does really well, other movie studios will want to follow its path because they're gonna say like, oh look, they made a lot of money, we should be doing that too. And it's a very risky thing once you introduce people having a theatrical release be premiered at their home. Some people, like, yeah, a lot of people right now are saying, oh, we don't want the movie theaters to go away. But once you introduce that to someone, their feelings may change. And that's a very risky thing for the movie business.
I do see your point there, but that's once they realize that not everything is going to be making a lot of money, they will completely stop with all that. The only reason that people will go pay a lot of money to go see Black Widow on demand is because of everything it built up, everything that Marvel built up. But if they just release some movie that not many people even know what it's about, it's probably not going to make that much money. Especially when you're charging $20 to watch it.
Well, I guess we'd have to analyze that more. But
well, it's like Netflix. Netflix kind of killed TV. No one really watches cable TV anymore. Everybody just uses Netflix.
That is true. That is true.
That's because they have good things to show. And then the things that don't get viewed, they immediately take it out within a month. But then things that people keep watching, they leave it there. Because it's on demand, if you will. It's in demand.
That is true. So I guess roll this into your final decision. So I mean, I guess from what I'm getting from you, it seems like you'd rather have everything go on demand.
Yes, but that doesn't necessarily mean to eliminate all movie theaters. Keep them because I know some people like going to the movie theaters, and yeah, a lot of people, well, as you say, their events, if you will. So they'd rather go see, a movie like Birds of Prey or a movie like Endgame in the theater than in their house. I get that, but I think that films being on demand should also be a thing. But I don't think they should overprice it just because you're watching it at the house.
Well, that is definitely an interesting thought. The movie industries would be losing money because for a big family, those ticket sales prices would be drastically dropped if they were to reduce the prices of the on-demand price, if you will. But with that said, so those are our thoughts on movie theaters and movies going straight to demand. Give us your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about going on demand? Do you prefer movie theaters? Do you prefer watching movies at home? What experience works for you? Also, speaking of movies that were delayed, some of the highlighted ones that are delayed are No Time to Die. That movie is now scheduled to be released in November 2020. Quiet Place Part 2, it has been rescheduled for September 4th of this year. Fast and the Furious 9 is now April 2nd, 2021. New Mutants, what the heck is going on with that movie? We have no idea. There has been no new release date for that one. But we do know that Disney is moving Black Widow to November and Mulan to July. And some other highlights are that there was supposed to be another Mission Impossible 7. I didn't know that. But that now is going to be late February of next year. And Wonder Woman is now scheduled for August, but who knows if that movie's even going to come out in August. It looks like this pandemic's going to be here for a while. So, with all of that said, there are many more movies that have been delayed and are being rescheduled. Some of the ones that I just glanced over right now are like In the Heights, Candyman, Free Guy, Indiana Jones, the new Indiana Jones, Matt Reeves, the Batman. So all of those more updates will be coming soon with their release dates. But now, since we're speaking of things to watch, unfortunately, movie theaters are not an option right now. So while you're stuck at home, the Movie Buffs podcast team have each chosen 3 movies to recommend to our viewers in hopes that you haven't seen them and we introduce you to something fantastic. We will also be providing to you the streaming service in which you can watch these at. And yeah, so these are our top 9. Each of us chose 3, and we will be giving them in no order of greatness, if you will. So number 9 does not mean it is the least favorite, or number 1 does not mean it's the best of the list. These are just our top 9 in general of what you guys should watch. So with that said, does anyone want to start?
Would you like to start?
I could start it. Yeah, of course.
Actually, you go first.
Okay, so the first movie I am going to recommend viewers to watch is a 2016 Korean film called Train to Busan. Train to Busan is a fantastic zombie film to watch. I personally think it's one of the best zombie films that I have seen in a long, long time. It's one of those that is exciting, thrilling, and has an actual story with characters that, are much deeper than the archetype that other zombie movies create. So with that said, Train to Busan is definitely one you all should watch. It's on Netflix. I don't know if it's going to be leaving Netflix soon. I don't think it is, because I do know that they update their roster every month. But this one has been around for a really long time, and based on its popularity on Netflix, I think it's here to stay for a little bit longer. So, but just in case it's not, I don't know, David, can you fact check that to see if anything's leaving in April? And
Yes.
Train to Busan is one of them. But yeah, anyway, Train to Busan, loved it. Great film. Anyone who is a fan of horror, anyone who's a fan of drama, this movie combines those two perfectly, I think. Steven, have you seen Train to Busan?
No, I haven't, but I have heard a lot of good things about it. I just haven't had the time to watch it. But now that you are recommending it, I am for sure gonna add it to my list. And I got nothing else to do, so I'm gonna be watching that probably tonight, because I did hear good things about it though.
It is definitely fantastic. I've been trying to get David to watch it too, but with our school schedules, our online Zoom school schedules, it's weird. We thought we'd have more time, but
I can now confirm that Train to Busan will not be leaving Netflix April 2020.
awesome. So you all still have a good month to watch this movie. Anyway, so that was one of my recommendations. Let's move on to the next one. Steven, would you like to give one of yours?
Yes. All right. So I didn't do my research because I didn't know I didn't know if any of these ones I picked were available for streaming. I just picked 3 films that I liked. But the first film I'm gonna recommend is one called 13 Assassins. It's directed by Takashi Miike, and it's from 2010. I do remember it was on Netflix for a while, but I'm not sure if it's still there.
Okay, well, luckily we have our fact checker with us today.
Yeah.
He's on it right now. Okay, but we're giving him some time. His thumbs are not at the speed of lightning. He's typing.
What's the name of the film again?
13 Assassins. So number like 1-3 Assassins.
13 Assassins.
If you type 13, it should come out on Netflix real quick.
Yeah, nothing is. We got 13 cameras, 13 sins, 13 reasons why.
13 reasons why. That's far from what he recommended.
But I don't see any 13 Assassins on Netflix here. I'm sorry.
No, it's totally fine. This is like, I mean, I have it on Blu-ray. That's why I watch it. So.
For anyone who is interested, 13 Assassins is available on YouTube, Google Play, Vudu, Amazon Prime, and iTunes for $2.99. The only exception is iTunes has it for $3.99. Just putting that out there. Also, I don't know if this makes a difference for anyone, but it does have a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It does. It is a really good movie. It's about this lord, if you will, who is somewhat, I would say, evil, but I guess that depends on how you look at him. But he does some pretty evil things in the movie, and of course, he's set to rule a part of Japan, and some politicians hire these assassins to like kill him, basically, in order to prevent that from happening, because they know that if he becomes a very important figure in politics, it's Japan's just gonna go downhill from there, so they have to stop him. But he has an army that also protects him with their lives, but it's so good. It's really good.
It looks like the action sequences would be really fun for this movie.
Oh, they are, for sure.
Okay, so moving on to the next recommendation. This would be recommendation number 7. David, would you like to take that spot?
I would love to take that spot. Okay, so the first movie I'm going to be recommending is Onward, and that is on Disney+. Now, a lot of you may recognize Onward because it was recently in theaters, I want to say maybe a month ago. 3 weeks or to a month ago, it was in theaters. It's an amazing movie you have amazing talent behind it, like Tom Holland and Chris Pratt. And if I'm being honest, I thought it was just going to be them just talking, not really voice acting, but I really felt the emotion. It was being conveyed greatly. It has great themes such as losing a loved one, which is presented with the opportunity for Ian, the main character played by Tom Holland, or voiced by Tom Holland, being able to bring back his late father back for a whole day. And if that's not enough to convince you, it's a Pixar movie. There's only, I want to say 1 or 2 bad Pixar movies that I would say, but this is definitely not one of them. And it is a tearjerker, I will say. I did cry a lot towards the end of this movie, so make sure you bring your tissues, or maybe I'm just too emotional. Who knows?
I think to add on to that, because I saw it too. It's a lot of brotherly love. So if you're really if you have siblings and you're really close to your siblings, I think that's where the emotion comes from. Yeah, it's a great movie for brothers. I know that there are a lot of movies out there that are great for sisters, a lot of great movies that are great for like father son or father daughter, mother son, but there aren't a lot that, and to my knowledge at least, that are brother movies, and this is definitely one of them. So, Steven, have you seen it?
No, I haven't. I did hear about it though, but it never really interested me. Only because I don't know. I was like, I kind of say, don't ask me if I'm interested. You know how I feel about Disney movies. I'm not.
No, yeah, definitely. I wasn't that interested at first either, because to me it looked more like a DreamWorks movie, but it definitely gains its spot as a great Disney film once you actually watch it. So.
It's on Disney Plus though?
Yes, it is.
Okay, then I'll probably check it out for sure then.
Disney Plus now only for $7.99. No, I'm kidding.
And it has an 87% on Rotten Tomatoes, for anyone wondering. I know a lot of people use that as like a basis. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
Okay, so now moving on to the next recommendation. We'll have it cycle back to me. Another movie that I'm going to recommend. By the way, all my recommendations are on Netflix, because I know that Netflix is one of the more popular streaming services that a lot of people have. Like I do know that some people still don't have Disney Plus, some people don't have Hulu, so I stuck to Netflix. So the next movie I'm going to recommend that's on Netflix is one based on a true story called The Stanford Prison Experiment. Stanford Prison Experiment is based off, obviously, the Stanford Prison Experiment that took place in the 70s by psychiatrist, Dr. Philip Zimbardo. And it's basically an experiment he conducted to see if evil comes from within, and if everyone is evil, even the good people, are they evil? And it's an experiment where he gets normal college students and divides them into prisoners and guards, and he just lets things unravel from there. The movie is depicts that very, very well, and the cast they got is fantastic. If you look up pictures of what the actual psychiatrist Philip Zimbardo looks like, the actor they got almost spot on, and I think it really did portray the findings of the experiment very well in this film. So it is on Netflix. I don't know what it got on Rotten Tomatoes, but I can check that right now.
I already got that for you. Your trusty fact checker.
Fact checker.
It has an 84% on Rotten Tomatoes.
There you go. No, I mean I'm not saying that I'm basing my recommendations off of Rotten Tomatoes. It just so happens that the movies I'm recommending also have a high score on Rotten Tomatoes, because I do know there are a lot of people who don't trust that scoring site. So by no means is this me recommending or justifying my recommendation because of Rotten Tomatoes. It just so happens that, and for those of you who do follow Rotten Tomatoes, well, then there you go.
All right.
So moving on, Steven, do you have your next movie?
Okay, my next recommendation is, again, I don't think... well, I looked it up to see if you can find it, and apparently someone uploaded it on Facebook. So I think that would probably be the only place you guys can watch it. But it's a film called The Twilight Samurai. It's directed by Yoji Yamada. It's from 2002. In my opinion, it's a really good movie. I don't really want to give away too much of it, considering that, like, you know, if I were to say this, like, the story, it's very much a story that, like, you know, that plot doesn't happen until, like, somewhat halfway in the movie. So it's like, I don't really want to say, you know, in order for people to expect something, you know?
Yeah.
But it is a really good movie. I don't know if, David, you can check the scores on it to see if what it has. I didn't get to check, but I do know that it was nominated for Best Foreign Film at the Academy Awards. If anyone sees that as, like, you know, like validation of, oh, that's a really good movie, you know?
It got a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's what I say.
I am one of those people that I don't really use Rotten Tomatoes that much for the score, so I don't really check it to see or anything, but I guess it's nice to hear that, you know, 99% of critics really enjoyed it. But yeah, it's a really enjoyable film. It's really good. It's well acted. I can't recommend it enough. Like I said, though, I don't know where you can find it, you know, but I think someone did upload it on Facebook. Just type in The Twilight Samurai, and it's like the first video that comes up is the entire movie in its entirety, you know?
What Facebook account? I'm just curious.
No, well, that's the thing. I just typed in, like, The Twilight Samurai, and then, like, in videos, it just said, like, on Facebook, it's there.
Oh, yeah, it did. 2 hours and 9 minutes on Facebook.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
well, we as the Movie Buffs team in no way condone illegal activity, but if it's on Facebook, Facebook is Facebook, right? I mean,
that is
you find a lot of things on Facebook. What's up?
That's basically sharing. You're sharing the movie with others.
Yeah, sharing content. Anyway, moving on. David, do you want to give your next recommendation?
yes, my next recommendation is Togo, which is also on Disney Plus. If I'm being honest, I thought Togo was just going to be one of those other dog movies. I mean, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. My brother Steven had to convince me so much to watch this movie with him, and I am so glad I did, because I've never been so wrong about a movie. Togo is about the untold story about, well, Togo. Yeah, it's the untold story about Togo. It's a sled dog. It talks about it during the movie. It's amazing. The cinematography of the film is beautiful. Out of the three I'm going to recommend, this one easily wins best cinematography in my book. There's amazing acting done by none other than William Dafoe, and it's such a simple and beautiful movie. And I don't know what else to say except that.
Yeah, I think you can't say much about that movie without giving it away.
Oh no, yeah, of
So
course.
I mean, I guess for anyone who's interested in that, you can just look up the trailer. Did you say where it's on it? I think
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus.
yeah. So it's on Disney Plus. Steven, have you seen that one?
No, I haven't. I don't. I haven't had time to watch it because I do remember you telling me about it, and I do have it on my list, but I have yet to watch it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was on my top 10 of the year for 2019. And for anyone who's interested, it has a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, a 69% on Metacritic, and 8.1 out of 10 on IMDb. So,
How much is it on Metacritic?
Metacritic has a 69.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. I don't know. Are you more of a Metacritic than Rotten Tomatoes type of person?
I'm neither. I think if a movie interests you, you should just watch it if it interests you. You shouldn't have to think about how the scores are. Because
That's
there
true.
are plenty of movies that I like that are like 2 out of 10s, low percentage on Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, and Metacritic.
So you're a you person.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so moving on. For my third and final recommendation, again, like I said earlier, all of my recommendations can be found on Netflix. And this is a film that the movie I'm about to recommend. It's a film by a very good director who has just had a dry spell recently when it comes to good films, but he used to be fantastic, and I hope he has a comeback soon. It's a film by David Ayer, and it's called End of Watch. End of Watch is a fantastic film with a great cast. It stars Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Pena. They are two cops in LA, and the movie is just exciting. It has a lot of heart. It's thrilling at moments. Almost everything that someone wants out of a cop movie. They do very well, and they do it in a very dramatic way, and by dramatic I mean it feels like a drama film. It's not just a cop movie like, oh, we gotta chase the bad guy, oh, we gotta arrest this guy. Like, no, it really digs deep into these two characters and the friendship that they have. And it kind of also, I mean, I'm not a cop, so I don't know, but it really depicts what I would imagine police in LA have to go through, and that's very exciting. They made it in a very exciting way, and I truly recommend this film. I don't know what the score is. David, do you want to?
Yes, as the official fact checker for the movie buffs. On IMDb, it got a 7.6 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes 85%, Metacritic 68%.
There you go. Steven, have you sseen End of Watch?
I did see it. I saw it like years ago when it came out in the theater. I thought it was really good. When I first saw it, I was like, wow, I was expecting something like, like the action, and I thought the whole, what is it, the found footage type film and everything. I thought that was like a gimmick that was dying at that point when it came out, and I was like, oh, now these people are doing it, but it ended up being like really good. A lot of heart in it.
The movie has a lot of great actors such as David Harbour, Michael Pena, Anna Kendrick, and Jake Gyllenhaal. So if you guys are fans of any of those actors/actresses, please check that movie out.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And with that said, moving on, Steven, what's your third and final recommendation?
Okay, so I went with a theme in mind, mostly foreign films, Japanese films, specifically samurai films. So, like, my third pick is Seven Samurai from 1954, directed by Akira Kurosawa, and that's actually like that's my official favorite film of all time, Seven Samurai. It's so good. I can't think any other way to say it. However, it is 3 hours and 20 minutes long, I believe. It's like over 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know a lot of people, they hear like 2 hours and 30 minutes, they're already worried, and now they hear 3 hours, and they're even more like, I don't know if I'm gonna watch this. And if it goes on for more, they're like, it is on Hulu. I know that. I think you need to have like Hulu Plus or something like that.
Yeah, and for anyone who doesn't have Hulu Plus, it's also available on Google Play, Vudu, and Amazon Prime for $2.99. Also iTunes for $3.99.
See, that's good. I think most people should watch that movie. And a lot of what cinema is today. I'm not saying it has Seven Samurai to thank, but a lot of stuff you see, can go back to these classic films, and Samurai is definitely one of them. If anybody has ever seen The Mandalorian, one of the episodes, the bounty hunter himself has to go to a little small village and protect the villagers from these enemies, if you will, and then he decides to train them in order to fight against the enemies and everything. That's straight up. That's basically what Seven Samurai is about. And of course, a lot of the stuff from Star Wars came from like samurai culture and samurai films and everything. So I'm not surprised that they did a little like tribute to that. So if you guys are interested, if any listeners out there are interested to see like how films were back then and how it influenced films by today, I think Seven Samurai is probably like one of the greatest films you can watch, if not the greatest film ever, because like I said, it's my favorite film like of all time. And yeah, I mean, I always recommend that movie to everyone, but then I always let them know it's more than 3 hours, so make sure you have like time to really sit down and watch it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going on my list now.
No, yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it's really good. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 100% on it, so that
There you go.
is great validation for someone like me.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it 100%. IMDb gave it 8.6 out of 10, and Roger Ebert gave it 4 out of 4.
I'm pretty sure that's like a website or something.
Oh,
Or maybe it's a person. We don't know. Shout out to Roger.
Roger Ebert. Well, he passed away already.
Oh.
He was a movie critic. His website is still up and everything, and other critics review stuff. But he was one of the he's Roger Ebert. The whole two thumbs up. That's him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Roger. See, I didn't know we're talking about Roger Ebert here. Okay.
Oh, you mean that Roger?
Yeah, that Roger. Okay.
No, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know about him, but hey, you learn something every day.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so he gave it 4 out of 4. So if that's validation for anyone who knows Roger Ebert, then there you go.
I'm sorry on your loss if you know Roger Ebert.
And now moving on, we have David's final and third recommendation here. David, take it away.
My third recommendation is Pan's Labyrinth, and this one is actually on Netflix instead of Disney Plus like my other two. In Pan's Labyrinth, we follow Ophelia and her mother Carmen as they go live with Ophelia's father, who is a fascist. This is important because the movie takes place 5 years after the Spanish Civil War. While Ophelia is living with her father, she encounters a faun, and that is where your fairy tale begins. It is in Spanish, so I hope for all you non-native Spanish speakers, you just turn on your subtitles instead of just turning away from the movie. It is rated R, so you might not want to watch this with the family, but I don't believe it's too rated R, so you can enjoy it with the whole family if you feel comfortable enough. And it is directed by none other than Academy Award winner Guillermo del Toro. So, amazing movie. I don't want to give away too much, but it lends itself to hours upon hours of just discussion. So definitely give it a watch on Netflix.
Yeah, that's a really great movie. If I had to compare it to something just to give the audiences an idea of what this film is like, I'd like to say, like, think of a really dark Alice in Wonderland, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Steven, I know you've seen this movie.
Dude, I own it. It's Guillermo del Toro is one of my favorite directors and everything. I think Pan's Labyrinth is amazing. David, you surprised me with this pick. I did not know you were gonna go with Pan's Labyrinth. I was like, oh, another Disney movie he's probably gonna pick. It's like, no, he actually picked cinema.
Dude,
But yeah, Pan's Labyrinth is just, it's amazing, and I agree 100%. It is a movie that everyone should watch. It's amazing.
I think we are all agreeing for the first time on a movie here, because I too think it's fantastic. You know, there's a lot of great story in there, and the acting, the writing of it, the direction, the cinematography. I mean, everything's beautiful about it. I think. Yeah, it's just it's it's weird because I just said that it's like a dark Alice in Wonderland, but if I had to describe this movie in one film, I would say beautiful.
Yeah, it definitely is that.
And for anyone who's, again, waiting for the scores, IMDb gave this a 8.2 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 95%. Google users, 91% of them like them. And Roger Ebert, once again appearing here, gave it 4 out of 4. With that said, these were our 9 recommendations of films to watch during this time of quarantine. Hopefully you guys get to watch them. Let us know in the comments below if you have seen any of our recommendations and what you think about them, or let us know if you have added any of the movies that we recommended onto your list. Also, if you have any movies you'd like us to watch, leave those down below too. We'll name the movie where we can watch it, and we'll get to them, and we'll give you our thoughts on it as well. With that said, our final thoughts here are, if you do want to watch these movies, again, my 3, I highly recommend. The movies Steven recommended, again, also sound fantastic. I know they're on my watch list now. And I have seen the 3 movies that David recommended, so I can't say they are on my watch list, but I can validate, if my validation has any value, I can validate for him those films are also super fantastic. Do you guys have any final thoughts you'd like to give, Steven?
No, I mean, I think we pretty much said it all, and you did too. I mean, I'm still surprised that David picked Pan's Labyrinth. I think that's just amazing. I'm like, wow, I can't believe he actually saw it. So I think he made this podcast recording like 10 times better with his Pan's Labyrinth pick, honestly.
Well, there you go. David?
I'm glad one of my recommendations was amazing. No, yeah, all the 3 movies that Steven on the phone recommended are amazing, and I definitely want to give those a watch. Steven in person, my brother here, has told me about all 3 of those movies, but I have not seen any of them. But I can guarantee you now, after hearing such amazing things about it, I'm going to give those a watch later, whenever I have time, of course.
All right, and it looks like our episode is now coming to a close. I am your host, Steven Campos. This is my co-host, Steven.
Bye, everyone.
Okay. And here's David.
Catch you next time.
Catch you next time. Remember to stay safe, don't touch your face, and wash your hands.